You know, there are some lines science was never meant to cross. Boundaries between life and death, the known and the completely unknowable. Today, we're going to dive into a story about what happens when ambition pushes humanity right past that line. A story of when man tried to play God.
Wow, that one line. It just sets this incredibly chilling stage, doesn't it? This isn't a story about some natural disaster. No, this was man-made. It's about a horror so profound that the sky itself had to watch.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in a place that's just dripping with mystery and ambition. Seriously, it's a setting straight out of the darkest Gothic tales you can imagine.
So I want you to picture this. The year is 1893. We're in London, and the fog is so thick you can hardly even see the gas lights flickering down the street. And then, out of that mist, this shape starts to appear. It's the Hawkins Manor, a place that's about to become, well, infamous.
And inside this manor lived two brilliant scientists, Dr. Edward Hawkins and Dr. William Cross. Now, they were partners, right? They shared the same goal, but their motivations were worlds apart. See, they both wanted to conquer death, but Dr. Hawkins, he was driven by love, by grief. He wanted to bring someone back, a rebirth. Dr. Cross, on the other hand, well, he was driven by pure, cold ambition. He was looking for the key to living forever, immortality.
So how are they going to do it? With this incredible, yet absolutely terrifying creation they called the soul engine. And listen, this wasn't just about jump-starting a heart, you know? It wasn't about reanimating a corpse. Their claim was so much bigger. They believed this machine could literally pull a soul out of the great beyond and put it back in its body. I mean, talk about the ultimate scientific arrogance, right?
Okay, so they had their goal, they had their machine, and the experiments began. And pretty quickly, the manor's reputation started to take a very dark turn.
This is what the people in the village started whispering about. Imagine, night after night, hearing these sounds, the crack of electricity, these inhuman screams, and the groaning of some huge machine coming from the basement. That place wasn't a home anymore. It had become something else, a place of torment, a laboratory for souls.
And then came the night that changed everything. The night it all went too far. Dr. Hawkins, just completely broken by grief, so desperate, he makes this fateful decision. He decides to use the body of his own beloved wife, Eliza, as the final test subject. At this point, you gotta understand, this wasn't about science anymore. This was a desperate, heartbreaking act, a man trying to defy nature itself out of love.
He was about to get exactly what he wanted. But you know what they say, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Just imagine it. Dr. Hawkins, his hand shaking, reaches out and he flips the switch. Instantly, the soul engine just hums to life and this eerie, brilliant blue light floods the basement. The whole room starts to shake violently. Glass vials are rattling off shelves. The very foundation of the house is groaning. And then, suddenly, silence. And in that dead quiet, her eyes snap open.
But the person who sat up, that wasn't his Eliza. Her eyes were cold, almost empty, and there was this cruel little smile on her lips as she spoke those words. So here's the thing. The machine worked. It definitely brought something back. But whatever it wasn't her soul.
And just as this thing lunged for Edward, the soul engine just completely overloaded. It explodes in a shower of sparks and electricity. Dr. Cross, he's just standing there, frozen in terror, watching as fire just consumes the whole lab. He sees Edward collapse to the ground, and in that moment of pure panic, Cross does the only thing his body will let him do. He ran.
But see, the story doesn't end there, in the fire. In fact, you could say the flames just gave birth to an even deeper, more haunting mystery. So the next morning, what did the police actually find when they started sifting through the ashes of Hawkins Manor? Well, the scene was just total devastation. They found some burnt remains, but they were so charred they were completely unrecognizable. And Eliza's body? It was gone, just vanished without a trace. They couldn't even fully confirm if the other remains belonged to Dr. Hawkins. It's like the fire had tried to erase the whole night from history. Except for one thing, one clue. Scorched right into the stone wall of the basement, almost like the fire itself wrote it, was this single, terrifying message. A final warning, maybe, from whatever it was they unleashed.
So what about Dr. Cross, the one who ran? Well, he went on to get everything he ever wanted. He became a world-renowned scientist, famous, respected. But all that success, it was like a golden cage, built on a foundation of pure terror.
Because for the rest of his life, every single time a thunderstorm rolled in, he'd hear a voice, a whisper in the crack of the lightning. It sounded like Eliza, or what was left of her. It was this constant, chilling reminder, not of his success, but of his greatest failure.
So, what's the takeaway here? What do we learn from this dark little tale about science, ambition, and, well, the supernatural? I think the moral of the story is actually pretty simple, but also really profound. Science can do amazing things, right? It can build, it can create, it can heal, but maybe there are some domains, some realms, like the spirit or the soul, that are just beyond its reach. The day that Dr. Hawkins and Dr. Cross tried to play God and grab a soul, they didn't conquer death. They just lost themselves completely.
And that really leaves us with one final kind of haunting question to think about. I mean, we are pushing the boundaries of knowledge every single day, but where's the line? At what point does a new discovery become a transgression? Where does the limit of science truly end?